The road to 2000 in chess, guys, is filled with many lumps and many bumps. And today we're going to be continuing on that journey in our 10-minute games. So we're going to sit back, we've got some water, feeling good. Lost a few games recently, got down to like the low 1500s, but we're coming back up again. We're going to go with e4. Consider just spitting the water on there. Just had the dramatic effect, but I saw my keyboard. I thought, best not. So the Alekines, this is ambitious, guys, for a 1500 to be playing the Alekines. This hyper-modern defense where the knight gets chased around, and if you play here, the knight gets a nice little outpost square. So often I don't like to go quite that far, and I like to just develop and protect this pawn. Or just develop for the center like this. With the bishop protecting. Now we've got a strong center. How is this a defense? How is the Alekines even a legitimate option? It is. Grandmasters play it. It just looks so bad at this stage, So, what do? We've used a minute. We probably just take and think about our time a little bit more. And then try and just get developed. We can throw in a check, it doesn't really do much. Get the knight out. So if here, they take, we take, the knight's hit, knight just probably pivots back, probably not worth it. Let's just develop the other knight. Knights before bishops, guys, generally. And we want to line up. We often want to line up here when you can, unless you're worried about this move. So we could play this and then go for this sort of thing, eyeing this pawn. So this to counter this, and then we're able to put our bishop out on this square and go for this mate threat in the future. So now maybe pivot back and go queen here, but this is always going to be hitting this pawn, so we just got to worry a little bit about that. And now they're loading up pressure on this pawn. So if here, that defends, but it looks a little bit odd. Here, take. We can't play that move, and I don't think we can play this one either. So here, on push, take. Oh, we can go that way. Relieve the pressure on this pawn. Can we? No, we can't. I didn't see the bishop there. Yeah, bishop just takes, and now we just castle. We're down a pawn. But we've got open lines, guys. There's always compensation losing a pawn. We've got nice open lines. We don't need to worry. Also, this tactic in the future, check, win the queen. Not quite working now because the rook defends, but just to be aware of it. There's also this idea, chasing the bishop, going after this square. That looks very tempting, guys, but I'm scared to play it because it's sort of an undefended piece out in the middle of nowhere. So if takes, we take back with the knight, and we've also causing a lot of threats for ourselves. Maybe they were just stepping out of this attack on the queen. Maybe they want to move the rook in the future, but I think they're trying to line up on this pawn. I'm not too concerned about that, even without the knight defending it. If they want to sack their bishop, maybe just let them. So now if here, they get an isolated pawn, do they? No. This? Or this? Can't play that because this bishop is quite strong, but I like centralizing the rook here. And then we can chase this bishop. Maybe they slide it back. Our phone's just getting pinged with all the nice comments from, who's this? Amajan Rajan? I didn't want to spend too much time reading the comments, but everyone's really nice. So if here, going have to check this. Sorry, what was that guy? I feel bad about butchering this guy's name. I've got to say it properly now. Amitabh Rajan. Okay. So this here. So we put pressure on this bishop. We've got 6 minutes left. We're talking a little bit too much, but what's my plan here, guys? What is it? This knight's sort of looking a bit silly now. Maybe I want to get bishop here and go for a mate on these dark squares. Maybe I just push this pawn up the board and try and shatter the structure. That looks tempting, guys. I was just at a bit of a loss there as to what to do, you know? Few little weird problems. This knight's sort of looking a bit silly now. I'd like to have had that knight traded off, and then I could get my dark square bishop in here and somehow orientate the queen on the dark squares, but obviously this covers. Something like that for my overarching plan. Chess is so much easier if you've got a plan, guys. Instead of thinking, do I move this? You know, if you've not got a plan, it's like, which piece do I move? It could be any piece. Whereas if you've got a plan, it sort of narrows your vision, your scope down to just a few pieces, really. So if takes, well, I think we just push because we got this bishop covering, right? So we just pre-move that. I don't see any tactics. I know it's an undefended piece on this square, the bishop, at the end of this sequence, but our king's pretty safe. A lot of tactics revolve around an undefended piece alongside an open king, you know. That's actually a great move. So if this... Wow. That's a great move. Winning the pawn. This pawn was our main threat, just shattering the structure as well. That's really annoying. Yeah. Take, check. Here. Mate. But if here, this isn't mate. Tempting though, isn't it? Just to get it'd be a good title, wouldn't it? I know if they go here, it's not mate, but so take. What was it? Check. And if here it's mate, and if here, it's nothing, is it? It's just nothing. Okay. But does this just trap the bishop? Yeah. Surprised they didn't see that with all our talking. Maybe they think our open king is going to be compensation. But I've also got open lines to attack them, so this this game is going to be quick from here on out. It's going to get intense. So now just this, they've also traded off their dark square bishop, guys. Long-term strategic point. Where are all the pawns on the light squares? Where are their weaknesses? The dark squares. What have we got? We've got a lovely dark square bishop. So, how do we infiltrate? I'd love to get in with tempo. If we could move this bishop and then we could get the queen like this in. This, I mean, just take. Why don't we just take? You know, we're threatening to come in and cause all sorts of problems with this pawn. I think they've almost got to take it. Queen here not working, we take. We've got to be very careful about our king. I'm just happy that they're not very developed. And we need to create an attack, really, now, before they get developed. So, if here, is there a check? They might just take the pawn. So if here, what do they get? They get this. They take the pawn and we have a queen trade. They've got a bad structure. I've got an active king. I've got more development. Maybe I'm okay. Have they got any more checks if I just do this? I don't see it. So let's hit the queen. Takes. They've got a bad structure. Is there anything better though? If he because they're hitting the bishop and they've got a few problems to solve in that case. They go for it. That's boring. Okay, so if there, I think we just line the rooks up, right? Or even like get in. Oh, right. What's our plan with the rooks? If we can get the rooks in, it's looking very good for us. Just I want to move this bishop. This bishop's an undefended piece, guys. It's sort of blocking off the nice open file for this rook to come in. Yeah, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Maybe pivot back here. But then we're intercepting the connection to the rooks, maybe in the future. But let's go after this pawn. At least it's a threat. They can't defend it. So I hit the rook. Rook takes the open file, I guess. Maybe we trade it. Maybe we just take the pawn. If here, we can take the pawn, because if rook takes, we take. We're hitting the knight, threatening to damage the structure. Oh, that's a beautiful move for us. That is an awful move, letting us take the pawn with tempo. That's almost losing, guys. Just not only losing a pawn, but losing a tempo as well. Or is it? No, it's not. They've got this tactic. No, it's really bad. Yeah. Classic tactic. This is how I beat a Gatmador. I keep going on about that game, guys. Yeah. Rook here. Was that a misclick? What? Okay. But this wins a pot. Guys, don't just go to the first check you see. Look at that check. It does absolutely nothing. They hit our bishop. This check is so much more devastating. But maybe they still hit the bishop. But I think it's still better, I think. Here. If here we're sort of blunted by these pawns. Here, it doesn't really look like we're doing anything. Maybe disconnect the rooks. Here, maybe. There's all these squares, but there's just not a good square for my rook. For my bishop. And now we're blocking the rook. Very odd. So yeah, we should have gone there, I think. Let's hit the knight. If rook comes, I think we're happy to trade. We're just up a piece now. Let's close this game out, guys. Road to 2000. Come on. Have we got anything here? Feels like there's a tactic, but not quite. Take the pawn. They take me. What do I have? Nothing. Okay, I don't know. Back here. Just a bit of an annoying move. I'm just trying to clean things up, but it's just getting a bit annoying. If here, is there any checks? No. Obviously this, but we take. Very happy with the trades at this point, and now we need to just get this rook in, smash down the board, and just stay away from any checks and any counterplay for our opponent in general. Try and shut these knights down. So now check looks really good, surely. They've not got a way to intercept, so now if they do this, I win the rook. In fact, I just win the rook, whatever they do, yeah. So king here, here, and take. They've still not got any checks. But now they can go here, but then I've got the bishop. Luckily, the bishop covers this square. We're hitting that. We've got a revealed attack on the king. It's absolutely over for our opponent. We've got 1 minute to finish this out, guys. Come on. We can do this. I needed this win. There's been a few losses, so feels good. Getting back on track. This Swiss guy, I believe. Yeah, but this is still check, right? And then mate here, maybe, in some cases. Unless they go here. Any checks? This is a check? I don't know. Throw in a check. It looks good. Wow. That was a funny looking mate, guys. The king surrounded by open space, but we just cut off all the squares. But yeah, and I was just, yeah. 4 blunders, wow, we've got to analyse that. Ugh. 4 blunders. Bet you're laughing at me, weren't you? What did I do? Did you realise, guys? Oh, so I played book moves. And again. And in the Alekines, you played bishop out. But it says this is best, so I'm not going to begrudge myself that one. Getting 2 knights out. And here, I didn't really have a good move to defend the pawn. Apart from that, just the simple. Yeah, I love this knight move. It even says take here is good, because if takes, we get... What do we get? I don't really see it. Oh, the pawn's pinned. I did not see the pawn was pinned. So we come in, king here, and then we've just, what have we got? Oh my god, that's brutal. The king, I don't know, here? What's best for the king? That is absolutely brutal. This is something I do, guys, when I play. I shout at myself, pinned piece, pinned pawn. See, if we just shouted that at myself, I would have seen this move, maybe after. But yeah, we didn't go for the knight sack, so still think we had a fairly good position here. Oh my god. They just hung a bishop. I didn't realise. We trapped their bishop. And he... Oh, I found the... I'm glad that was the best move with the rook. That was a bit of a complex one. And it says this is winning for us, even though we were even on material. Which I sensed we were better. I just couldn't quite put it into words. It's mate in 12. We just had more active pieces. Wow. That's crazy. Oh, that's just that much better. And I didn't get this move. Why? If they'd gone here, right? That was surely best move. But then... Check, mate. So I was worried about this for no reason, guys. So what other blunders did I make? That was a blunder. Because... Oh yeah, just pinning the piece. So I had to defend, and then it would have been awkward. Yeah, careful with alignment issues, guys. Putting an undefended piece in front of your king. And yeah, hope you enjoyed that one, guys. Cheers. Like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.